Chapter 4. Some days start off bad and end up really good. Today Carl wrote something on the school notice board, which as it turned out was not such a good idea. Although it does prove that he is a good speller, because if you are going to write, Mrs. Wilburton has trotters, then don't do it while she is walking along the corridor. Trotters. Pig's feet. He said it wasn't him, which was also not a good idea. Since then, Mrs. Wilburton said, "Well, Carl Wrenberry, you must either think I am blind or that I am very stupid indeed." And Carl said, "Well, I know you aren't blind." Mrs. Wilburton said she will need the weekend to think of a fitting punishment, as she has run out of all the good ones. Because I am exceptionally eager to be in the school play and I do want a main part, I decide I must get on Mrs. Wilburton's good side and keep out of trouble. Ruby Redford would call it keeping a low profile, i.e., don't draw attention to yourself, blend in with everyone else, and try to do what they are doing. It's a Ruby Redford rule. So I look around this room to see what everyone else is doing, and I catch sight of Robert Granger sticking a pencil up his nose and leaving it there. I decide to blend in with him. I decide not to blend in with him. Instead, I copy Grace Grappolo, since she is one of Mrs. Wilburton's favorites. But it turns out to be very difficult to do her smug, goody-two-shoe smile, so instead I make up my own blending in face, and so there I am, sitting with lots of concentration showing on my face. I do this by slightly crinkling my eyebrows so she can see. Anyone could, that I am listening, and most probably learning too, even though it is highly dreary what she is saying. It doesn't seem to work, though, and before even about 4-ish minutes, I suddenly hear this honking voice going, "Clarice Bean, I know what you are thinking. I can see by the look on your face, and you are up to no good." And I want to say, even I don't know what I am thinking, because I have gone off into a trance of boredom, and actually, for your information, I wasn't thinking at all. But then she would just say, "I knew it. Wasting time, staring into space, vacant mind. Well, obviously, you need to fill that empty brain up with the 8 times table." So instead I say, "Mrs. Wilburton, I'm finding your lesson exceptionally interesting, and I am just concentrating hard on being fascinated by the interesting things you are saying." And Mrs. Wilburton says, "For a start, I find that very hard to believe, and second, there is no such word as exceptionally, and you're making it up, and you can't just make up words willy-nilly, you know. Where would we be if we all just made up words? So you see, I can't win, so I just have to sit there not saying a peep. Mom is trying to train me not to answer back. She says not answering back will save you a lot of time in the long run. And so, although I am tempted to say something, I don't, because I want a main part. So I must keep zipped. Ruby Redford has a good technique for keeping it zipped, which is to put a couple of jawbreakers in her mouth. But there is a rule in our class of no gum chewing, so I can't use this brilliant idea. By the way, for your information, the only actual person who can tell what I am thinking is my mother. She's really good at it. She says she has had plenty of experience, having been a mother for nearly half her life. She says mind reading is one of those things that mothers do really well. She says she's never really got the hang of the ironing, but mind reading, that's something she is really good at. In the afternoon, Mrs. Wilburton announces what the school play will be. It turns out that we will be doing The Sound of Music, which Carl says is a Drips movie and there is no way he would ever be in it, which I agree about, but secretly actually don't care, and I am desperately eager to be in. You've probably seen the movie yourself, because I tell you it is on at least once during Christmas time. Granddad loves it, and Dad always offers to do the dishes as soon as it starts. As soon as it even starts. He says he would rather sit with a rabid dog in a dark room for 3 hours than be made to watch The Sound of Music. Betty says preferably she would like to play the leading part of Julie Andrews, who in the story is called Maria. Maria is a nun with a good voice who becomes a nanny and marries Captain Von Trapp, who is the father of 7-ish or so children. The children all end up wearing outfits made of a pair of curtains and turn out to be really good singers too. I would rather very much like to be the eldest daughter of Captain Von Trapp named Liesel. Liesel has a boyfriend who turns into a Nazi, but before that he is a mailman. Betty and me sometimes do the running down the hill in an apron when we are out in the park. I don't tell Carl that. What does cheer me up after this dreary day at school is that Betty and me have got our first drama dance voice workshop. We go along to the drama studio. It's the same place where Mom does her yoga classes, and it smells of those These stick things, they burn to cover up the smellings of feet. We try to get Carl to come too, but he won't. He says he would rather be with his dog than doodle around pretending to be something he is not. It's a shame because it turns out to be really fascinating and also interesting. The teacher, Zarina, is from an actual drama teaching school of drama, and she is madly attractive with an actual earring in her nose. She wears these kind of loose pajama-y outfits and little tiny shoes, a bit like dancing shoes, but not. They have sequins on them. She walks on tiptoe nearly always. She is half from Pakistan, but her name is from Russia. Zarina. But you have to pronounce Zarina. So I don't know why you have to bother with the C, but that's English for you. Anyway, Betty and me think Zarina is a very glamorous name, even with the unneeded C. And we wish we were called it. Zarina calls everyone my darlings all the time, no matter who you are. And she says acting is a craft, but it is not a bit like the crafts I am used to doing, which are more about using felt and old glue that smells sort of like fish. She gets us to do all these special exercises that she says actors are trained to do. You have to do this special breathing and stretching and say these rhymes that are really difficult to say. And you have to do them over and over very fast. Zarina says, darlings, you must connect with the audience, draw them in, make them love you, make them hate you. Use your voice, your body, your energy, captivate them, and don't let them go. We have to do standing up straight and breathing deeply right from our ankles up. Zarina says, fill your whole body with oxygen. Feel it in your legs and tummy and fingers. Now float yourself across the floor. Are you floating, darlings? It's so excited I didn't think I could float. But when she says it like that, I feel like I can. Zarina says, you are all fabulous, darlings, floating fabulousnesses. It is really amazing to find out I am good at something I thought I wasn't good at. Zarina says, yes, it is extraordinary how talent creeps up on us when we are least expecting it. Wow, so Zarina thinks I am a talent.